Hello and welcome to the MAC weather page for this Friday, August 12th. And before I forget, if you've got activities that you're planning this weekend, Sunday will be the day to do it. We'll have partly becoming mostly sunny skies, comfortable temperatures in the low 80s with light northwest winds, lower humidity and dew points. So again, Sunday will be a great day for outdoor activities. The next 2 days, not quite so much. The headlines for today. Flash flooding type rains will move into the area, and again, I think the next batch of rain will develop this afternoon into tonight. And again, we expect the 12 stations that we have here at MAC and LAC to average between 1.25 and 1.7 inches or 75 inches. But we could see local amounts between 3 and 4 inches of rain. Wouldn't even be surprised if a little bit higher than that in isolated areas. So some very heavy rains possible. We do have a marginal risk for severe storms later today. That would primarily be for the potential for some wind damage, but again, the chances are quite low. If we look at the normals for the day, our normal high is 80, the normal low is 56, and you'll notice the record precipitation in 1939 was 1.76, and we have a chance to challenge that here before midnight tonight. But again, we'll see how that goes. 1 year ago today, we had a high of 75 and a low of 55 with no precipitation, so a pretty comfortable day last year at this time. Yesterday here in Breckenridge, we had a high of 91.5, a low of 69.3, and our 11-plus days of dry weather came to a halt with a whole whopping 1/100th of an inch of rain. But again, we'll certainly add plenty more rain in the rain gauges here across the area over the next 36 hours. If we look at conditions around the rest of the MAC area yesterday, you can see temperatures mainly in the low 90s. A couple of locations didn't quite make it here, but again, much of the interior sections of lower Michigan topped the 90-degree mark. And again, some precipitation, almost a third of an inch over at London, 1200s at St. Thomas, and then 1100s at Brown City, 500s at Middleton, and 10th and a half or at Newaygo. But again, not too much rain yesterday, but we're going to, again, pile on some pretty good amounts, I think, here over the next couple of days. You can see currently out there we have temperatures in the mid-70s, even some upper 70s, so a very warm, sticky start to the day. And again, we got rain and thunderstorms about the area, and again, we're going to see those increase here over the next couple of hours. And then we may have a little bit of a lull before more showers and storms redevelop here this afternoon through tonight into tomorrow morning. And again, some of the rainfalls could be extremely heavy at times with these dew points you can see in the low 70s across the area. So again, very humid morning out there today. If we look at the lightning, the MAC lightning detection network that we have here, you can see some of the showers or some of the thunderstorms with lightning strikes just off of the southwest of the Middleton and Breckenridge area and west of Lansing. And some of those storms should move into some of these areas here over the next couple of hours. If we look at the satellite view this morning, you can see a lot of extensive cloud cover and some colder cloud tops indicating those thunderstorms. Normally they'd be weakening at this time of the day, but with dew points and good instability in place, these should hold together pretty good. And again, our next storms will develop later on this afternoon once we destabilize. You can see on radar some of that shower and thunderstorm activity off to our southwest begins to increase a little bit once it gets into lower Michigan a bit. And again, we'll have at least scattered thunderstorms this morning, becoming more numerous later on today into tonight. As far as you can see, there's a lightning strike, that beeping noise in the background. You can see the percentage of rainfall, just a little bit of help yesterday, but again, quite dry. The 12-station average, 69% of normal rainfall for the entire growing season since May 1st. Not real good. If we look at the 90-degree days, we've added a couple over the last couple of days, and Breckenridge now up to 12, Middleton 10, and Jasper, Lansing, and Henderson at 9 days above 90 this year. If we look at the, this is last week's drought monitor that came out on Tuesday and was issued on Thursday, and you can see much of the area was extremely dry and some moderate drought conditions across areas from around Saginaw down towards Lansing and Thumb and across extreme southeast lower Michigan and much of northern Ohio. Now the newest one that just came out this Tuesday, you can see some severe drought conditions starting to show up in areas, especially across north central Ohio. And again, much of the area here from Saginaw Bay down towards Lansing and Charlotte and Jackson in a moderate drought conditions will certainly alleviate a lot of that here over the next 24 to 36 hours. If we look at the weather map this morning, you can see that cold front ever so slowly trying to make its way to the southeast. It'll get a good push but this Bermuda high has been holding it in place, and as waves of low pressure move along that front, each one of these will bring periods of significantly heavy rains to the area. And you see much of lower Michigan back into Illinois under a risk for flash flood type rains. And if we look at the next map, by tomorrow morning, you see that low pressure across lower Michigan, the front now beginning to lean in from the northwest. Until that front comes through, showers and thunderstorms are expected into the afternoon before things begin to taper off from northwest to southeast across the area. And then by Sunday, that front is off to our southeast. High pressure begins to build in with just a slight chance of some instability afternoon thunderstorms. But for the most part, we expect most of the area will be dry on Sunday with plenty of sunshine, comfortable temperatures in the low 80s and lower humidity and dew points. As far as severe weather, you can see the marginal risk basically from around I-96 or Lansing over towards Brown City and areas to the south. Breckenridge, Middleton, Newaygo, certainly have to keep an eye on those areas as well. But again, a very marginal risk for these. And again, the biggest threat would be wind damage. And if we look at some of the precipitation, the incept over the next 72 hours has much of the area over an inch of rain, up to an inch and a half in areas. And again, if we look at the Canadian model, it shows a stripe of about 2 to 3 inch rains across southwest lower Michigan up to northeast lower Michigan, with about 3/4 of an inch to an inch. And then finally, if we look at the incept over the next 3 days, it shows a pretty generous amount of 1.5 to 2.5 inch rains across much of the MAC area. And then for the next 7 days, that moisture from that tropical storm early next week, the WPC, unlike most of the models, does indicate they think that'll sneak up into lower Michigan and would add another couple of inches of rain on top of what we get here over the next 72 hours. Thanks for stopping by and have yourself a great day, a great weekend, and 73s to all.